Safety meeting for this week, we're talking about the fatal 4+1. And what this idea is that OSHA tells us that there's 4 things that cause most of the deaths in the construction industry. Falls, struck by injuries, caught in between injuries, and electrocutions. And all these things happen even in the TI world. And the idea is if we can stop these 4 things and train on these 4 things, we'll lower the death rate in construction. That is all great. It makes sense, and it really does resound with what we want to do in the industry with safety. The problem is there's something bigger that's causing death in the industry than these 4 that doesn't get talked about a lot, but I think is actually a little more important that we need to bring up: mental health. So mental health is actually one of the biggest things hitting the industry right now, even more than our physical industry, injuries and deaths we have. So construction workers have the highest suicide rate than any other occupation. So when we look at mental health and start looking at the statistics is, if 1 in 5 of these people are struggling from mental health, but our industry is struggling even more, what that relates to is in construction, out of every 100,000 workers, we lose 45 people. To give you an example, right now, when you combine what used to be the biggest one, military and law enforcement, they're down to 19 out of every 100,000. And we're at 45 to every 100,000 people that we lose to suicide. It's gotten so bad that they're now tracking individual jobs in construction and seeing what it is. And it's not just the workers. Project managers right now are 53 out of every 100,000 project managers commit suicide every year in the construction industry. So it's not just on the field, it's in the office too. So somebody that may have a mental health issue like I do, I struggle with anxiety. What does construction do to that person and take them to that edge place, right? So what happens is, in most of these cases, with proper treatment, it can be managed. But a lot of time in construction, it's ignored. Why is it ignored? Because in construction, it's a very alpha male-dominated culture. And what do guys not like to do? Talk about their feelings. And what else do they like to do? Talk in general. You go to work, your foreman tells you what to do. You spend about 7 hours by yourself doing that task. Maybe every once in a while talking to somebody. You're living in your own head, going through whatever financial issues you have, marital issues, issues with your kids, issues with your friends. You're going through all the issues in your head by yourself with somebody usually, historically in construction, yelling down your back, pushing you, driving you to get better. You didn't do as good as last week. Why? Never really uplifting, but it's push, push, push. And so then we see that rate dives up in construction. So what do we do? How do we treat that in the field? Well, there's a couple things we can do. And what it's called is task. And this is something that we could look forward to doing on a daily basis on our job sites with our people. And what it stands for is T, tune in. So just pay attention to somebody's behavior. A lot of times we don't realize simple changes in behavior could show somebody's kind of on that edge of something going on. Because what they found is, I got a chance to sit with some psychologists from UCSF. There were 6 of them that came to the presentation. And with this, somebody might be totally okay, but in a short period of time can go from 0 to suicide within weeks or months. It wasn't like it was happening for years and years. A trigger situation happens, they have this issue, so we can tune in, pay attention to what that looks like, see if they're saying things like, it would be better if I wasn't here, or see if they're checking out as far as general normal things that would engage them in life, or they're checking out of those things, and then ask. So without judgment, without, saying to somebody, you don't really use your own words, are you thinking about suicide? But ask things like, how are you doing? Is there something that I can talk about? Is there anything in your life that we can discuss, And that could lead to you asking the question, do you want to, are you thinking about harming yourself? Is there something I can do to talk to you about this? The next one is stated, right? The S stands for state. So it's just talk to them about what the truth is, Suicide is permanent. And if you get through tune in and ask with state, you can really have that, basic conversation with them. But the big thing is really connect. And that's, we're not counselors, we're not psychologists, but we can put them in tune with things that can help. So some easy resource we have is text hello to 741-741, and that connects somebody directly to a crisis counselor. We can give that information. So we might not be somebody that can help, but we can get them the help they need on the spot if we're tuning in to seeing what's going on, or go to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So it doesn't seem like it's something we focus on, but when we think that we lose 5 times the amount of workers to suicide than we do to physical risk, it should be something that we look at every day on our job sites.